we are not what society would say is super financially smart, astute financial advisors or experts. But many of us here are very smart, astute, and even a bit of an expert when it comes to spiritual law and spiritual principle. I know that you know what your spiritual beliefs and values are. And whatever source you serve, I bet you don't believe that anyone was created on a spiritual level more special than someone else. I bet you don't believe that anyone is more deserving from a spiritual perspective than someone else. And our opportunity here in this moment is to realign with our spiritual truths. The individual financial strategy or the individual financial what to do, you don't need to know that right now. What you need is to restore spiritual truth as you know it, to claim that with confidence and to include yourself in that arena. This thing that we have developed as women is that we look around and we flip through the magazines and we watch on television and we flip through social media and we see people living the life that we would desire, that unconsciously we're not necessarily thinking about it, but obviously it costs a certain amount of money for that manifestation to have taken place. And we make it okay for someone else, but not ourselves. That ends right here, right now. Agreed? Pinky swear, agreed? I'm asking, do you choose and make the decision to put yourself in the, I want to say, in the pool of humanity from a spiritual perspective, that everyone deserves financial abundance? Like, does your God or your religion or your spiritual practice actually see it differently? I'm not seeing it. I'm not feeling it because it's not true. So you don't need to know how to charge more or make more or do a business funnel or in how to invest in the stock market or real estate or anything else right now. Because I want to remind you, you have a spiritual connection and you know your spiritual truth. And I know that you know your God. And your God doesn't love any human more than another and didn't design any human to be more deserving than another. We know that we are each given our own unique divine assignment. And that divine assignment requires certain resources, requires certain opportunities. And there's a lot of details there that went on, right? It also required you to be born in the country that you were born in, to be born into the family that you were born in, to be born into the circumstances that you were born in. Your divine assignment is absolutely connected to everything that you've been through, everything that you've overcome, everything that you've seen, experienced, and witnessed. These are all resources, your life experience for your divine assignment, which is perfect from the spiritual perspective. So, we've already discussed, he who began a good work in you will be faithful to complete it. You have been set up to live the epic life from the very beginning. From the very beginning, you were set up for the epic life. You were set up to have that spiritual connection. And yes, all the conditioning and programming and doubts that got into your mind, it's all in accordance with the divine assignment, because these were all elements that you and you alone were meant to overcome. Now, all of us together are overcoming all of our stuff, all of our trauma, all of our hurts and insecurities and wounds and fears. But it is for such a time as this that we are all the ordinary women that have been called into greatness, called into queenhood. Have you ever seen a broke queen? I thank God every single day that I got the archetype of queen and not monk. I wouldn't do good with the shaved head. It's just not my thing. The burlap sack, not my deal, right? Like, and there's power and there's a purpose, and all of the people in the world who got divine assignment as monk, mazel tov and congratulations. But I'm gonna guess that if you're here, you're like not anywhere in that camp. You're in the queen camp. And the whole reason why you are drawn to the story of Esther and divine living and anything that you see in me is because your own for such a time as this moment is completely about queenhood. Queens have crowns, royal robes, castles, the whole thing, right? And that requires, not costs, it requires money. So I want you to get into your birthright right here, right now. I want you to get into what was given to you spiritually. And I understand that society and people try to take that away from you, try to take your power, try to take your confidence, try to knock you down, tell you that you weren't good enough, that you couldn't have it, that that stuff was for other people. But I am here to tell you that God has a different message for you, and it is time for you to start listening to the spiritual voice within you, which is truth. And that includes your relationship with having a vibrant and abundant amount of money coming to you, flowing through you, in your bank account, in investments, whatever debt you're in right now, I don't care. Whatever minuscule amount of money you have been conditioned to settle for, I don't care. Because what I know for sure is that the message that God is sending to you right now is that you are meant to have an abundant amount of money. Your archetype is queenhood. Queens require an abundant amount of money, not just for the royal robes and for the castles, but for such a time as this moment, because only from the position of queen can you fulfill your calling. You are here to fulfill your calling, and you cannot fulfill it without an abundant amount of money. Do you understand that? And do you receive that truth for you and for every woman in this program? Thoughts, comments, questions? Let's lay it in the comments, because I am coming to you from the wells of truth. We're going to get into some practical stuff around money, because the queen is the masterful blend of both the feminine and the masculine. But I'm going to tell you this right here, right now. Anything that you have done to complicate money, anything that you have done to say that it's super hard, that it is out of your reach, that it is for other people, when you return to that the epic life is meant for you, and that comes from the place of queenhood, and that spirituality is your superpower, there is nothing complex about the spiritual realm. Nothing. The spiritual realm is simple. You deserve it. The spiritual realm is you are worthy. The spiritual realm is you have a divine assignment. The spiritual realm is you are important. You have a purpose. This is truth. This is not complicated. So it's time for all of us women to open our eyes and open our ears to the spiritual realm around receiving what you absolutely deserve. You deserve a place on the global stage. You deserve a place in the limelight. And for you to be there and to be able to contribute in a way that you are meant to contribute, you cannot be distracted, stressed out, or in bondage around money.
So if you'd like this, share this with your friends. We know that there's so many other women out there that need to know these tips and these skills and need to be supported in them creating the ultimate success for themselves the feminine way too.